Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm gonna be doing another retrospective video. Today, we're gonna be reviewing or retrospecting every episode of season 5 of Big Bang Theory. Yeah, season 5 retrospective, because last time was season 4. Let's go season 5, guys. Will it be an upgrade from season 4, my favorite season, or will it be a downgrade from my favorite season? So this season takes place. It literally starts right after season 4 ended, which that was really cool because they left us off in a cliffhanger. It would be really annoying if they just cut off that cliffhanger and just like picked up like a month later. That'd be stupid. I'm just gonna spoil. I'm just gonna shove you in a spoiler. This is one of the best episodes of the season, and it's really really good. Okay, I think it was great at handling all the stuff that season 4 left off. Like straight off at the beginning, shows like it's not what it looks like. Like literally, the last thing that Penny says in season 4 is it's not what it looks like, and then Sheldon literally just says it the right way, and he's contemplating about it, and then everyone kind of argues, and Sheldon's trying to think about paintball that they're supposed to be doing later that day. It's just classic Sheldon not really realizing what's really going on. He's still worrying about bloody paintball. But I thought this was very very similar to season 4 episode 6 of season 4, episode 6 of season 4. Yeah, episode 6 of season 4. Where all the gang kind of yelled at each other and everything, and they all got annoyed at each other. Which Sheldon was actually involved in that, and they were all like, and then they all kind of were starting exposing each other. So yeah, I find it very similar to that episode. Well, I mean the beginning part of it. Okay, like this episode has a good amount of drama. It's kind of weird, like end of season 4, and like this episode has like so much drama compared to like the rest of the series. It's kind of strange in a way, because Young Sheldon has a lot more drama than this show. Also, really feels like Penny and Amy are like friends in this episode. Like Penny like asks to stay over at Amy's place, and it's kind of from this episode onwards that we kind of just feel like Penny just has Amy and Bernadette as friends, like no one else, because I mean that's all that Penny kind of hangs around with. It's just Amy and Bernadette. Also, it was cool to see Bernadette yell at Raj and everything, and that plot kind of comes full circle. But the problem with the show is that after this, they never address it again. Well, I mean, they do a few times address that Raj is a thing for Bernadette, but like they hype it up in season 4 as it being like Howard and Raj and a big fight and all that, and I guess they do have it in this episode, but like they're just kind of back to normal in the next one. Like I just really don't understand that. They used kissing machines to kiss each other the next episode. And I feel like it's more season 5's fault than season 4. Like that, like season 4 hyped it up, and then season 5 is just like, no. I mean, in a way, it's like a Force Awakens with the Last Jedi. You know what I mean? But not really. Season 5 actually does pick up a lot of the issues from the last episode, and kind of fixes them. This episode, Penny conveniently gets a place on a commercial and is not going to move back to Nebraska. The biggest coincidence to ever happen on the show. Also, what was Raj thinking? Like, actually, like, what was he thinking? He really thought that he and Penny were going to have, like, a relationship? How was that ever going to work? Raj, you're an idiot, even when you're not drunk. I really did actually think that Penny and Raj did have a kind of connection in the last episode. And from this episode on, like, they do kind of have that special kind of bond. And we see that, can kind of develop, and in the season 6 finale, especially. Yeah, I mean, I'll get to that eventually. Yeah, so somehow Raj was thinking that they're gonna go on like an actual be in a relationship. Again, that's never gonna work. Yeah, whatever. And in the last scene, he kind of got a little bit too touchy with Penny in front of everyone else. It was weird. Also, the final scene when they're doing paintball was actually kind of fun, and then Sheldon has a big heroic sacrifice and all that. Yeah. Well, that would be that was the second last scene, and just it was actually just kind of fun to see everyone arguing with each other. Kind of feel like the episode probably should have focused a little bit more on Bernadette. Like, come on, man. We should have seen maybe Howard and Bernadette share a scene together in this episode about them to be talking, because Bernadette speaks to Raj and says like Howard's freaking out. We should have seen Howard freaking out. Come on, man. Just one extra scene. I really want Howard and Bernadette talking this episode. Come on, it would be so good. Yeah. We really don't even see Howard and Bernadette interact this episode, and they really should. Whatever. Other than that, this is a pretty good episode and all that. We also see the return of Leonard's mother and all that. Some video call. Yeah. Nothing really to talk about there. This was a pretty good opening to the season. Okay, and it's one of the few openings to the season that takes place like directly after the last one ended. Also, I think that this episode probably should have had a goodbye scene with Priya saying goodbye to everyone, because she just kind of disappears. I mean, everyone says like Flair's saying that she's moved back to India, and in the next episode she's just gone. It's kind of weird. I mean, she does have a few more appearances in the show in this season over video chat, but I just really thought that it was strange how we just didn't say goodbye. Maybe we should have done like an airport scene or something. There should be more scenes. I don't know, man. It's just weird. But honestly, I don't really blame the show because, like, I mean, I think every single scene in this episode was kind of earned. I mean, except maybe the scene with Leonard's mother. They could have maybe cut out and replaced it with another few scenes. But, like, overall, all the other scenes kind of feel like they're necessary to the plot and all that, and they build tension and all that, so it's kind of hard to criticize this episode. Anyway, come on, next. So, season 5, episode 2, it's good. Not as good as the last episode, though, because reason. Leonard and Priya have these Zoom chats and do this stuff on like on a video chat, and that goes as well as you expect. It doesn't end well. Whatever. And while Leonard has his din-fast date with Priya at the beginning of the episode, Sheldon goes over to Penny's. But I never understand, why doesn't Sheldon just go to his bedroom? Like, why not? Why would he go for the Pennies? Like, Penny, more like stupid. Why not just stay in his room and like watch something else, like laptop or something? I don't know, something like that. Like, why would he go for rather go for the Pennies? And yeah, for some reason, Penny thinks that Sheldon would be okay with a chair that was found out in the trash, basically. Yeah, like how did she think that Sheldon would react happy to that? But I did think it was actually pretty funny how Sheldon and Penny were kind of acting like they were all married couple. That was kind of funny. That joke. I mean, it went on for a little bit too long, though, if you get it. Yeah, Sheldon goes absolutely crazy and stuff. Yeah, the plot doesn't really get resolved, though. I mean, Penny does actually get rid of the chair after there's something that was actually found in it, and then Penny and Amy went screaming and they ran all the way down the stairs. That was actually really funny. And then, of course, Howard and Rosh found it the next day, and they made the same mistake as Penny, and you know what happens next. I mean, you don't know for sure, but Sheldon's gonna overreact again, and then they're gonna throw it out, and then God, then someone's gonna find it, and Sheldon's gonna overreact, and they're gonna throw it out, and then it's an endless loop. Also, as I said, in the review of the last episode, Howard and Raj early used kissing machines to kiss each other. That's weird. That's just one of the weird Howard and Raj moments in the show. I mean, some of them, like sometimes Raj acts weird in front of Howard, and Howard's like aware of it, but sometimes they just act weird, and neither of them are aware of it. And this is one of the situations where neither of them are aware of it. It was really, 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 really weird. Also, I thought when Priya got frozen in the video chat that was like really, really funny as well. It was the worst moment. Oh man, GG Leonard, GG. And of course, Priya's literal parents have to go. What's that? New legal terms? What? Also, when Priya's parents were on the video chat, that was pretty weird. It was very weird. But yeah, that plot was pretty funny as well. And to be honest, in a way, I actually kind of forget how this plot ended up being like 18 minutes long. To be honest, but I mean, yeah, it's very long. But yeah, it was kind of weird seeing Leonard in this episode, kind of in front of Priya, because this is because we don't actually see Leonard before any of the sex, because like, I mean, because I mean that's kind of low nudity in the show. So we don't really see Leonard say any of these weird things in the moment, but we all see the characters reminisce about these times. So now it's kind of it's weird. Whatever. Move on to the next episode, guys. Move on. Okay, so season 5, episode 3. Apparently, Penny thinks she's the most the most important person in the group. I mean, in a way. I mean, the show wouldn't start if Penny hadn't moved in. So I mean, in a way, but I don't really care. It could be any of them. Like maybe it's probably Penny. Whatever. This episode's cool. I mean, Amy and Leonard technically go out on a date, and it's pretty weird. I mean, I don't know what Leonard was doing. Kind of giving Amy a kiss at the end of the night. What was that about? I don't think Leonard had any feelings towards Amy, but I think the weirdest thing about this episode was when Leonard was talking about how he had a good time with Amy, and Leonard's like slapped him and said, "She's not for you." That was really funny. Considering what happens at episode 10 of this season, we all know what Sheldon's thinking. It's just one of those weird things, okay? Sheldon has feelings for Amy, okay? Confirmed this episode. I think this is the first episode that kind of like confirms it. Because in the other episodes, it wasn't like 100% confirmed, but like here, it is confirmed. He has feelings for Amy, okay? Okay, we all think it's season 5, episode 10, where we actually learned that he has feelings for her, but no, it's this episode, guys, we idiots. Okay, so yeah, also in this episode, we have Bernadette and Howard's mother interacting, kind of, but not really on screen, because it has to be off screen because of Howard's mother. She appears to be afraid of the camera, to be honest. I think this is the start of the jokes where like Howard kind of confuses Bernadette with his mom sometimes, and kind of, I mean, yeah, because he accidentally says "morning, mom" to her. Like, it's funny. I mean, and Craig that joke only comes up a few times during the series instead of like all the time. By the way, Mrs. Wallowitz funny as always. Like, seriously, Howard walks in on her like regularly when she's in the bathroom, like not an accident, like it's planned. Okay, like not planned. It's weird, and like he just expects Bernadette to go in there. Like seriously, man, I can relate with Bernadette so much in this episode. Like Mrs. Wallowitz is disgusting. Yeah, I think it would do this plot. It would do kind of like Leonard dancing and the other one, and him literally like, I don't know, getting injured somehow. Literally everything Leonard does, he ends up getting injured. Like seriously, dancing or I don't know, playing video games. It's all always in injuries with Leonard. Cat take 2 steps without tripping over and breaking his head open. So yeah, I probably would rather that plot a little bit more than this one, just because that has more story based and it's still pretty funny. That still does kind of progress the plot a lot forward, because we need to focus on Howard and Bernadette, because we're getting married this season. I feel like this is like the first episode where they really interact like for more than like a few scenes. And episode 1 they didn't interact at all. In episode 2 I forgot to check that one, but whatever. Season 5, episode 4 is what I call to be the beginning of, kind of modern Raj, the kind of sad Raj, the lonely Raj. I'm sorry, Raj, but you've been have bad luck on this show, okay? You literally I'm so lonely throughout the whole thing, okay? I mean, guess you do have a relationship for like 2 years during like the middle of the series, but for most of it, he's single. The few relationships he gets usually don't really last that long, and mostly he's just the rest of the group is dating someone, and he's just left there kind of lonely, and it's sad. But I mean, yeah, it kind of starts with this episode where he just kind of gets annoyed at everyone having girlfriends, and he's just like stuck with no one. Well, I mean, Sheldon isn't dating Amy, but I mean, like, we all know he has feelings for her after the last episode. I love the joke that Sheldon makes that Raj is so lonely and so sad he doesn't want to play Dungeons and Dragons, and yeah, Sheldon makes a good point. If that was the reason for not playing Dungeons and Dragons, I mean, no one would play that game. And Emily is deaf, so I love all the jokes that the show makes of it, and like Roger being really really creepy and kind of that, and then Howard's kind of like trying to turn that down, and the first episode that kind of shows off that Howard is a lot more mature now, and even just since season 4, I mean, he's just a lot better. I mean, like, no wonder he's getting married. He means a lot more mature than he was last season. And he doesn't actually say anything creepy to this girl. And also, Raj was going to ask Emily about liking music, like really, Raj, really, and how his voice sounded like James Earl Jones, and like Emily doesn't know any voices. Yeah, this plot was really really funny and all that, and then it ends up that Emily is going to be gold digger. Yeah, great, just using Raj for his bloody parents' wealth. Also, it's Penny would apparently dated Raj if she had known how rich he was. Really, what? Also, how does Sheldon know that Raj is so rich? And I've been reading on the wiki, and apparently Sheldon and Raj's father are friends, and like they don't even interact in the show. Like, I watched every single episode of the show like 5 times, and I wouldn't know if they would have interacted. Okay, I really don't understand. Like, how are they friends? How does the wiki know that? I thought it was a fan wiki. Like, where do they get this information from? So that's why I get that. I guess that's why Sheldon knows how rich the Coothar Pollys, the Coothar Pollys. That's how Sheldon knows how rich the Coothar Pollys are. But how do they get that wealthy? Like, they're billionaires. Okay, like seriously, but like how? So yeah, I know we're talking about billions, and the parents live in India, which isn't a very developed country.
So how they got all this money, I do not know. But the relationship doesn't end up going well, whatever. And the scene with Howard, Penny, and Emily in the gym was just awesome. And I retract my statement. Howard is still a bitch. Also, Sheldon tries to turn his life into a big Dungeons and Dragons game. Wow, I thought that was pretty funny. And it kind of weird. This episode only has like one plot, and like for most of the rest of the show, to be honest, it just has either 2 or 3 plots going on. But really, this one just has one. And like I guess Sheldon rolling the dice and that deciding what he does, that's kind of a plot, but not really. That's just kind of a joke that keeps going on during the episode. They just give something Sheldon to do because it's Sheldon. Whatever. It's pretty easy to just said some stupid for him to do. But yeah, unfortunately, the relationship with Emily doesn't work out because she is a bitch. As I said, everyone in this episode is a bitch. Whatever, this is one of the best ones, to be honest, because it's very memorable, okay, the relationship they have. And apparently this episode, like, spans for, like, a month, which is kind of weird, so... Yeah, they probably should have had this episode going on through multiple episodes if they were smart, but nope.
Season 5, episode 5. Oh yeah, 2 digits, and they're both 5. Will Wheaton returns in this episode, so that's always great. Will Wheaton's always a good character, but yeah, I don't really like this episode with the minute, okay? This episode just kind of makes no sense. Now, I like the original 3 episodes with Will Wheaton, okay? We have the original one where they, him and Stuart beat Sheldon and Raj at the card game, and was like, Mystic Warlords of Kata, or something like that. And then there was, what was it? There was the one where they went bowling and Leonard and Penny broke up. That was that one. Then they went the one where they went to the theatre. And that was all of Will Wheaton's appearances so far. And every one of them, Will Wheaton was really mean to Sheldon and all that, and he was kind of tricking him. And it's such good. I love Will Wheaton's character in those original 3 episodes. I mean, I guess in the theatre one, he didn't really play any mind tricks. He just kind of was kind of a bit rude to the gang and just kind of went in. But in this episode, Will Wheaton just gives Sheldon a toy, and Sheldon's kind of alright with him. It really doesn't sit right with me. Okay, come on, man. I don't even know why the rest of the gang are even okay with Will Wheaton. It's kind of a bit of a bitch. They basically go to the party, and then Will Wheaton just gives him an action figure, and then whatever the other big actor that was there stole this action figure or whatever else, did something, and then now he's on this enemies list, but like he never really comes back, to be honest. Yeah, but I just don't understand. Like, where did the rivalry go? I love that thing, okay? And some of the Will Wheaton interferences later on the show is just kind of boring, okay? He lost that he lost that bit of personality, okay? And yes, I know I'm talking about an actor who's playing himself in a TV show, but I'm pretty sure this is not how Will Wheaton would really act in real life, to be honest. And I do think Will Wheaton still has some of the charm in later episodes, but whatever. I just don't really understand why they did this to his character. But whatever. Next plot in the episode. Just saying it's better than this one. Okay, so I don't actually have any footage of the actual episode, because I don't know, can't find any YouTube videos that have the clips with Howard and Bernadette and the car, and that's just in this episode. But whatever, just gonna look at clips from episode 3. Yeah, I mean, I would use Netflix, whatever. I record on Netflix, it just ends up being a black screen when I look back at it. So you don't want a black screen, do you? Whatever. Bernadette learns that Howard is going to space, and yeah, this is the first episode where we learn that Howard's going to space and everything. And I mean, it must have been pretty cool to learn that Howard was going to go to space in back when the series was first airing. That was pretty cool. And this is one of the coolest parts about the season. I really like how Bernadette does have reasons for how we're not going to space, okay? Bernadette is kind of in the middle of being, kind of later on season Bernadette, but on like earlier season Bernadette, when she's early she had that different voice, but now she kind of sounds and like modern Bernadette, but I feel like she's still an actual good character. Bernadette later on is not a character. Bernadette's father was a policeman, and they never really knew if he was going to come back alive that night. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, but so much more crime in America. But even Ireland, okay, there's not much crime in Ireland, okay. Okay, whatever. I like this, okay, and we're in the wedding season right now. Well, when I mean wedding season, I mean like season 5. It's their wedding season. So it's also nice to get them interacting a lot, because these are basically like the main couple of the season. Okay, they're getting married. So eventually, Bernadette tells Howard's mother on him, and yeah, I mean, no one likes a snitch, Bernadette. Yeah, I mean, that was annoying, but eventually Howard went to space. I mean, I believe he was doing a bit of an obstacle, and maybe Howard had to for his mother and talk to her, and that would have been a funny scene, and maybe they had like a heart moment and stuff. But I feel like Howard and his mother don't never really have a heart moment. I mean, you always kind of hear about these stuff later in the show that they did have a really good relationship and stuff, and some of the best scenes, the most heartwarming scenes that they have were just stories that Howard told to Bernadette or something like that. I really would have loved in this episode, I mean, another one that we actually got a heart scene with Howard and his mother about him going to space and stuff. And yeah, that would have been really cool, but we could never get that now, I mean, unless they get another voice actor or something. And I mean, we're not gonna get that. The show's ended. Season 13. Okay, I did say that season 5, episode 4, where Raj was dating the deaf Emily, that was the only episode in like in around this time, and for only in the first and only episode in like in the last episode for a while to only have one plot in it, but season 5, episode 6 has just one plot. Like there's nothing else. The only scene that doesn't have like Mary in it, is the one where Sheldon and Amy are kind of talking, and Amy, yeah. Whatever, I didn't really feel like this episode was very that interesting, to be honest. It was kind of a bit boring, not really having that much of a plot. I mean, Sheldon just kind of wanted to go do stuff, wanted to spend time with his mother, but Sheldon's mother wanted to spend time with his friends, and yeah, there really isn't much for me to talk about. I mean, these retrospectives have been getting longer and longer, more in depth, I feel like. I don't even know if it's just probably because of the multiple plots now, because like 2 different plots, so it's always more for me to talk about. In the older episodes, there was just one plot, and you know, there wasn't as much for me to break down. But yeah, I guess now there is, and yeah, I don't really have much to talk about in this episode. It was alright. Let's just leave it at that. Let's have a short review for this one, because there really isn't much for me to talk about. Also, this is like the last time we see Mary in 2 seasons, basically, because he's in the rest of season 5 or season 6 or like first half of season 7. Yes, see Mary won't see in a while in the Big Bang Theory retrospectives, but she's all the time in here all the time, the young Sheldon one. So, season 5, episode 7. Yeah, this is the one where Leonard kind of has to date 2 women. Wait a minute, what was her name? Alice. Yeah, her name isn't really that memorable, but the character is pretty memorable. Okay, I mean, my favorite part of this episode is just when Leonard just gets off the call with Priya and just lays back for a minute. I mean, you can honestly see that he's just so annoyed right now. I mean, in a way, he can't really be like that mad at Priya though. In a way, like she cheated on Leonard, but Leonard was kind of thinking about cheating, but then didn't. So I mean, yeah. But then again, Priya did cheat on him, and yeah. And I'm kind of glad the Priya and Leonard thing kind of stopped. We have been getting mentions of the Leonard and Priya relationship thing during the season, like episode 6, last episode, for example. But I don't know, just it didn't really feel right, and for them just keep going with it. And yeah, obviously we need Leonard and Penny to get back together and everything. Also, I'm just gonna say it's weird that Leonard went for Penny for relationship advice. That's just kind of weird. Imagine you go to your ex-girlfriend for a relationship advice. Who would do that? It just shows you that Leonard has no one else to go to that would be good at giving advice. I mean, like no one else has dated is in this situation before. To be honest, I mean, like Penny, yeah. Also, in that scene where Leonard learns that Priya has also cheated on him too, I love the part that Sheldon just like came up from the couch and just scared him. That was just so good, man. I was so scared. Also, I don't know why Alice was so annoyed at Leonard. Like, really wasn't expecting that. She doesn't really seem like that type of girl who would be like, what? She doesn't. Well. What I'm saying is that she doesn't really seem like the type of girl who would be that angry at that. I mean, I don't know. I'm judging off of appearance, to be honest. But like, she was pretty vile in what she wrote and everything. She doesn't really feel like she'd be like that angry at people for this kind of stuff. But I mean, it makes sense for plot reasons. So whatever. Good job, show. Whatever. This is definitely a really good episode. I love this one, and I mean, this is the last appearance for Priya ever. Still wish we got a goodbye scene in season 4. Come on, man. We never see her for like the rest of the show. Also, everyone pointing out that Leonard literally picked up a girl at the comic book store. He should get a poster on the comic book store wall. Like, come on, man. You're a legend. And also, the stuff that Alice wrote down in those books, those books, like her own books that she wrote, I mean, what was that? What the hell was she writing in those things? Like, what was she having sex with? And you might be asking, why did Sheldon come up from the couch and scare Leonard like that? Well, we're going to go on to talk about the other plot. Now, you've seen the episode, right? Why would you watch this video if you haven't seen the episode? You know what I'm going to be talking about. Great, just my luck. Season 5, episode A. Oh, I was going to talk about the other plot of the... sorry, oops. It really just feels that they stopped these two plots for each episode, just kind of their own episode at this point. Are they different? No. Whatever, man. I love the opening joke here where Sheldon's like, proof that I'm worthless after 8 o'clock. By the way, why does Sheldon go to bed like so early every single night? That's what's weird, man. Oh, man. Yeah, the second plot is just Sheldon gets scared over and over again. The first part was pretty funny and everything, but I mean, in a way, it was kind of annoying the first part because I really felt like Sheldon should have gotten scared like instantly one more time in the hallway. Like, it just kind of like he gets scared one more time. And just like, oh yeah, guys, that's enough. Come on, please stop it. And then they actually stop it. I mean, I know Leonard came up with the mask like a few minutes later, but still, it was kind of bugs me a little bit. Also, the prank with Howard was pretty scary. Man, literally, Bernard tricked him into thinking like Howard had like a heart condition or something like that. Wow. And again, as I said, Leonard Sheldon come out and actually prank Leonard at the end. Like, yeah, it was so funny. Like, the payoff, like, it was just so unexpected. It was so funny. Also, like, when Sheldon was like, he think he was so stupid, and then he actually put like the taser thing up to his head. Oh, okay, that was really funny as well. Just all of Sheldon's attempts to get his friends to get together, it was also funny, and of course he ends up succeeding. Yeah, great job, Sheldon. This is a great episode, to be honest. It's just both plots are really good, and a good Halloween episode, even though it doesn't really feel a focus on Halloween. To be honest, it's just kind of this is just the smaller plot. To be honest, Leonard deciding between two women isn't really Halloween. I mean, and I know that one of them is like pretty scary, but it's not really Halloween. Okay, so now we're on to season 5, episode 8. Amy gets drunk in this episode and goes absolutely crazy. What? Also, yeah. I know this episode has one singular plot, so every second episode has one singular plot, and I said like, a while ago that that was the opposite. Yeah, okay, whatever. F me, I guess. But I swear, from now on, there's these two plots per episode. Yeah. This episode is good, I guess. Amy and Bernadette. Amy is kind of annoyed because Penny and Bernadette went dress shopping without her and all that, and yeah, and Sheldon was snuggling with Amy, and I kind of feel like he didn't really hate it. He just pretended like he hated it. He didn't like the idea of it, but we all know he enjoyed it. He doesn't like that physical contact. Okay, like come on. Also, my favorite scene in this episode was Amy asking Sheldon, like, what would it take for him to ravish her? And then I'm just looking at Sheldon like, yeah, what would it take? That was hilarious in my opinion, man. I would really want to know. But eventually, at the end of the episode, Penny and Bernadette decide to make Amy the maid of honor at Bernadette's weddings. That's cool. And I know a lot of people don't like Amy's character, but yeah, I feel like this is like kind of more. We're getting a more modern Amy. She's not as robotic as she used to be, really. But she still isn't like full modern Amy yet. Yeah, I mean we're gonna really start getting to modern Amy in another few episodes though. Oh, so bad for Amy because she never really had any friends growing up. So then when she kind of met Amy and Penny and Bernadette and became friends with them, it was cool, okay? Like, she really liked that, okay? And, it was kind of sad for her in this episode when she realized that, are they really her friends at the end of the day? But yeah, they really did feel bad. Yeah, I know the stuff that Amy was doing was weird, but, like, she's not very social. She doesn't really know how to act in these social situations, guys. I'm not saying Amy's the best character in the show, but she's not bad. Also, yeah, Leonard in this episode just kind of knocks on Amy's door and just kind of leaves. Though, like, why did he even go with Sheldon to go to Amy's apartment and that? Like, what was the point of that? Whatever. This episode is good. Let's move on. Okay, so season 5, episode 9 is one of my favorite episodes of the season. It is probably one of yours as well. Okay, the Penny and Leonard plot is just, it's good. Okay. We actually get a lot of a lot more information about how Leonard and Penny's relationship worked. Of course, we know that Leonard always wanted the S word, but yeah, he kind of wiggled his way in. I'm not gonna say that. I mean, he got cheated, and he always watched what Penny wanted, so that they get in bed at the end of the night. That was interesting. I love how Leonard's so happy. He's just like getting whatever he wants because they were kind of getting whatever Penny wanted when they were dating. Okay, but seriously, sometimes what Leonard wants to watch is just sounds so boring. And just the interactions between them in this episode was so funny. Okay, it was awesome. Yeah, like seriously, season 5 did get Penny and Leonard right. Okay. Well, I mean, most of the seasons get Penny and Leonard right. Okay, except for some of the later ones. I love the scene when they're in the diner and Penny's starting to talk to this other geeky dude and stuff, and Leonard's talking to this other woman, and they kept forgetting her name and all that, and just the arguments they had and all that. It was just really funny. Okay, it's just one of the funniest plots in the show, and the other plot is also funny. I'll get to that. I do wish it was a little bit longer, but still, it's just really, really funny. I mean, yeah, when you watch this episode, you kind of do want them to get back together, but then also like, is it really going to happen? But at the end of the night, they do end up kind of bonding when the whole date is basically over. No, it wasn't a date, guys. Okay, they were just hanging out as friends. Yeah, and of course the second plot, which in my opinion isn't quite as funny as the main one. I mean, it was just kind of weird because I'd say that this plot isn't very good because it's basically supposed to be played for humor. This is less of a story and just kind of jokes about Sheldon kind of being afraid of a bird. There isn't really much story here in the Letterkenny plot. It does have story, but this was a really funny plot as well, okay? This was good. Because Sheldon was really scared of a bird and all that, and it was just so funny especially as well. And then the bird flew in and landed on a spot. Like, what? Oh, man. Yeah. I was gonna say this right now. How can you be scared of birds? Like, some people's phobias are really, really weird. Personally, I have a drop my phone in water phobia, but come on, that's understandable. I don't want to drop my phone in water. Sheldon eventually becomes friends with the bird, and then the bird flies away. I love when Penny and Leonard are just walking up the stairs quietly, and they just see the poster for it. It was actually just hilarious, man. And then Leonard comes back, and Sheldon is gonna have bird babies, and this is never brought up again on the show, but. Man, I would feel bad for Leonard in those coming weeks. Yeah, overall, this is one of the best episodes of season 5 because both plots are really, really funny. And yeah, let's go on to the next episode, which is a very important one because reasons. Okay, season 5, episode 10. You all know what I'm talking about. Wait, this episode just have one plot. It's every second episode. Okay, great. Singular plot. Episodes continue. In this episode, Stuart asks Amy out on the date, so it's the second time that Stuart asks a love interest of a main character out on a date that isn't Howard or Raj. First time, of course, was Penny when he was making his first few appearances in season 2. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good episode. A lot of the stuff Sheldon does is great. I mean, I don't care, man. It was funny when he was acting like a cowboy when it was playing cards. I don't think that's part of the plot, though. Like, whatever. And also, a good scene was when Sheldon asked Penny on a date. That was weird. He didn't really like Penny, to be honest. But Sheldon, for some reason, thinks that Penny likes him. Really? I mean, it is Sheldon after all. Okay, so I'm not even surprised. But yeah, Sheldon goes in the middle of Amy and Stuart's date and asks Amy to be his girlfriend. Yeah, I got that right. That was really funny. Like how at the end of the day, Stuart's like, and yeah, besides you furthering your relationship with another man, this went really well. What happened to Stuart, man? He used to be so confident in season 2. Okay, like what happened, man? We all know. Like what? Why? In all the later seasons, he's always so depressed and lonely, just like Raj, Also, Sheldon unfriending all of his friends on Facebook. That was really fun. Yeah, was it Facebook? I think it was Facebook. I'm pretty sure it's Facebook. I mean, yeah, this is a long time ago when people under 40 actually used Facebook. And of course, there is a relationship agreement with Sheldon and Amy, and I also do like how Amy is Sheldon's emergency number or whatever. So yeah, that was fun. Wow. Who was his emergency contact before? His mother? I'm pretty sure it's probably his mother. I mean, who else would it be? Leonard? No. Yeah, I mean, really, don't think it would have been his mother though, because his mother doesn't come up that often in the show. I'm pretty sure. I mean, sure she does come up quite a bit, but then it's a pretty long drive from them, from what is it? From East Texas all the way to Pasadena, and she can't just afford to go up there every time Sheldon has a bloody paper cut. So I don't know, maybe it was Leonard or something, but I just can't imagine it being Leonard, and I can't imagine Sheldon not having an emergency contact. Anyway, this is the kind of start of modern Amy now. Well, not this episode, but of course we all know Amy and her regular annoyances with Sheldon, of course, because Sheldon do something really annoying in the relationship, and Amy has to like be annoyed. That's just her job. You know those modern episodes, and they kind of start with in another few episodes' time. Those ones. Yeah, and that's really is the start of modern Amy, the non-robotic voice. She gets rid of it. She's not a robot anymore. So yeah, this is the start of something big. Okay, like Sheldon and Amy are in a relationship now. What? But isn't it weird to think that in a brief period of time, Sheldon was in a relationship, but Leonard wasn't? And I know this is only for basically this episode, the next episode, like episode 10, a bit of episode 10, and episode 11 and 12, basically. Then 13, I mean, Leonard and Penny kind of get back together. But, I mean, he's still kind of single during that time. Well, whatever, it's weird to think about. Okay, let's go. Season 5, episode 11. Is this episode good or bad? It's, to be honest. No, I love this show, okay? There's a lot of great episodes in this show, and there's some mediocre ones sprinkled in there, but mostly my opinions on the show are pretty positive. You can't really disagree on that, can you? I basically have a pretty positive opinion on every single episode, and if it's not pretty positive, then it's really positive. I always point out how much jokes each episode has and all that, and the good parts and the parts I find a bit annoying and stuff like that. But in this episode, I can't remember a single joke in this one, to be honest. It really wasn't that great. It's one of my least favorite episodes of the season. Definitely my least favorite episode of season 5. Definitely. I never really got this one. I really didn't like the Jimmy Speckerman character. I mean, I thought it was pretty annoying of him for him to just forgive Leonard and all that. Then the next morning, just went back to his old stupid ways and all that. And I know it's Lance Barber, and he does play George in Young Sheldon. I have done the first 2 seasons, retrospectives of that show. And I actually loved Lance Barber in the role of George, but I didn't really feel like it was really that great at this episode, though. So yeah, I'm sorry, Lance Barber just wasn't didn't really love you in this episode. I just really didn't like this episode. I really just skip it when I'm watching the show because I really just don't like it at all. So whatever, let's move on. The second plot. Okay, and the next episode, the second plot of this episode is where Penny, Amy, and Bernard are stealing clothes from this place because they were going to donate the clothes, but no, they just decided to steal some crap. I really don't like the idea of Penny being a bully, although this is a better plot than the Jimmy Bully Speckerman plot. I just don't really like the idea of Penny being a bully. I don't know. I mean, I don't really think she really was a big bully, but I don't really like what this episode implies. I just don't really like the idea of Penny being a bully. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I mean, she was so nice in season 1, episode 1, okay? I mean, if she was a bully, she definitely learned her lesson, because I could not see that. Like, season 1, episode 1, she was really nice. But yeah, I mean, this part of the story was okay. I mean, yeah, basically, Whatever, not really much to talk about here, guys. Let's just move on to the next episode, because I'm honestly sick of this episode, you know what I mean? Season 5, episode 12, we have Sheldon and Amy's first official date on camera. Oh yeah, and Sheldon already acts like a bitch. When Amy doesn't, Sheldon doesn't care when Amy has some neurobiology news, and Sheldon's Sheldon doesn't act very fondly when Amy has some neurobiology news and stuff, and Amy gets annoyed and stuff. And Sheldon, all Sheldon cares about is him getting 100 Twitter followers. Bro, that's not even that much. I have a YouTube channel now with 240 something subscribers, okay? Like, come on, man. Yeah, this plot isn't very memorable, though. I mean, it just kind of blends in, but basically Sheldon gets a gift to give to Amy. I do like Amy's reaction when she gets the tiara, but yeah. A lot of these plots were kind of just, they kind of blend in with each other a bit. It just kind of forgettable in my opinion, okay? So I do like Penny and Sheldon are obviously going to get a gift, and yeah, I feel like Amy would love the tiara of whatever she got anyway if she knew it was Penny's idea. But whatever, man. I mean, it's not a terrible plot, but but it is the first time that we are kind of exploring this modern plot, because this is basically what goes on in the show now, and later on in the seasons, like season 8 and stuff like that. And the other plot is that Bernadette doesn't want children, and she never wants to have them, and yeah, this episode feels really dated now. Yeah, I mean, Howard and Bernadette do have kids eventually, okay, but you know what? Spoilers. Yeah, I mean, this episode is actually kind of funny. Although it's a bit dated and not really that funny, it was still kind of fun to see Howard messing around with the magic tricks, and thought the magic scene itself actually was pretty funny, where all the kids can make fun of Howard and all that, and yeah. So they never really come up with a solution for the whole kids thing. I mean, I guess Howard says, Bernadette says Howard should stay at home and stuff, but then again, it doesn't really feel like a full-on solution. Whatever, it kind of feels like it just kind of ends like some of the Big Bang Theory episodes. Like, do we really resolve the plot? No. F you. Yeah, nothing really much to say about this episode, though. Bernadette gets angry, and, she hates kids, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, not a very good episode because of the Sheldon and Amy plot kind of being forgettable, and this episode kind of being a little bit dated, but still it's pretty funny. Oh, for God's sake, man, I thought they got rid of this single plot episode. It's not even that they're bad, I just keep betting that they'll go away. Like, come on, man, episode 12 didn't even have like 2 plots. And this episode have 2 plots, come on, man. Just Leonard Penny for the whole bloody thing, I'm sick of it. Also, 100 episode special, yeah, good job, guys. Wow, 100 episodes, what? Okay, no, that's out of the way. I'm not gonna lie. This is my favorite episode of the season. This is just awesome. Okay, the last few episodes, they haven't been really that good. And if I was watching the show religiously now, I'm kind of like, oh come on, man, it's just so dead. Are we gonna get bad episodes for the rest of the season? But no, because this episode comes and kicks everything out of the way, just because no bitches. I'm a good episode, and I'm going to come in and surprise all of you. Okay, I really love the scene. The first scene, of course, kind of mirrors the first episode, and Sheldon's just kind of annoying that you got to bring Zachary Quinto, Mr. Spock, cardboard cutout instead of Leonard Nimoy. So, I don't give a crap about Star Trek. Like, Penny's even wearing the same t-shirt as well, and Leonard could be wearing the same shirt, but I don't think so, to be honest. Though I just really wish that Amy and Bernadette weren't there. I mean, like, I'm not saying that they're bad. I do kind of like how they're like, ooh. But, like, why can't we just have the original 3 characters again, like, in that scene? Like, why? Why is Penny... I don't know, why is Amy and Bernadette, they just kind of ruined the scene a little bit, okay? They're just there because, why not? That is the only thing wrong with that scene. And the other problem with this episode is that, yeah, it's all a bloody dream. I mean, no, it's not the typical, it's all a dream, but it's all a daydream. It's the same thing, man. This episode would be so much better if everything wasn't a dream. But still, it is really good, though. Like, it can't completely ruin this episode. But seriously, man, it doesn't stop me from ruining this, from enjoying this episode, but it just kind of feels like everything in this episode is pointless then. It's always in Leonard's head, okay? And I feel like what happened here was better than actually what happened in the next few episodes. Overall, what actually happens in the episode is just like one scene, basically. All of what happened in the middle, what didn't happen, it was just all in Leonard's head. Whatever, it's stupid in my opinion. Of course, there are some great scenes in this episode when Leonard and Penny actually go on their date, and they're just they're pretending that they're on their first date actually, and they're just trying to get to know each other. That was such a good scene, man. It really felt like they were really connecting, if you know what I mean. It just felt so nice. And then that ended, and of course they started arguing. It's almost fun to get Leonard and Penny arguing. Let's go. I mean, you kind of get the same scene, kind of twice, where Leonard asks Penny on the date at the beginning of the episode in his head, and at the end of the episode, and Penny asks if he's thought this out, and he has. And then we get the scene where Penny's picking out her clothes with Amy and Bernadette for the date as well. We get that scene twice, but like it's verse, like Amy's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have double dates together. Oh my god, what? Then Bernadette's like, you could have just had a double date with me instead. But then at the end of the episode, like the opposite thing. I don't know. I kind of like those little parallels. Also, kind of bit of foreshadowing towards season 12 in this episode, where with the kind of the fake wedding scene. Yeah, a bit of foreshadowing. Just saying. It was pretty weird in my opinion, though. Just kind of weird. Kind of came out of nowhere. Many people think that season 12's plot line with Penny kind of came out of nowhere. But it didn't, it came from season 5. Wherever, of course, Penny and Leonard have to do the thing and all that, and I don't know, man, it's weird. In a way, it doesn't feel exactly real. Like, what would have been Penny's motivations there? And I do kind of like it. It kind of reminds me of me when I do some daydreaming sometimes. So I mean, in a way, this episode is kind of relatable for me. I still would have liked it to all be real, though. Also, it's fun with them arguing the Cheesecake Factory, and when Leonard finally woke up from his daydream. I mean, yeah, I mean, he's just saying, like, any way I think about this, it ends badly and stuff, and it's, I mean, in a way, it's kind of sad. Of course, they do live happily ever after in this show, but yeah, I mean, whatever. What is the point of daydreaming? Okay, you're just gonna end up, oh yeah, I'm gonna fall in love, I'm gonna have a big, happily ever after, but it never goes like that, man. You have to have arguments to get along, okay? You can't just be happy, okay? What is a relationship if you don't have any arguments? Whatever, episode 100, really good in my opinion, okay? Yeah, when I eventually get around to reviewing the 100th episode of Young Sheldon, I'm gonna go do like a comparison between those episodes because I do think they're both really good. Oh my god, spoilers. It'd be cool to compare them, and actually some other things like the pilots of both shows and stuff like that. And yeah, maybe. Yeah, overall, this is a really good episode. Now let's move on. Okay, so season 5, episode 14. Yeah, Leonard and Penny come back from their date. Now their actual proper date. Okay, it actually happened. Now, I don't know why I was just thinking about this, but this is an obvious callback to season 2, episode 1, where they were after coming back from their first date, and then of the previous episode, you know, obviously for season 2, episode 1, it was season 1, episode 17, and for this episode, it was the last episode, season 5, episode 13. They had agreed to go on a date in that episode. So then, in between episodes, they went on a date. So yeah, I mean, it's a good callback, okay, because in that episode, they went on their first date, okay, and now they're going on their first date again, kind of. It's weird, but and then season 2, they didn't actually start dating, to be honest. It wasn't really a full thing, to be honest. They didn't even have sex. But a nice parallel, okay? And Leonard and Penny kind of argue a bit because Leonard's kind of complaining about Penny too much because they have this new thing where they have to like write down on a piece of paper what's wrong with themselves and what's wrong with each other and stuff. Not what's wrong with themselves. That sounds weird. I kind of like that stuff. Or they were complaining about each other and stuff. I thought that's actually pretty funny. You know what seems like a good way to continue a relationship is the worst way to continue a relationship. Leonard, you were stupid. So they tried to do more fun things, and yeah, I mean, they even went to this shooting range thing, and of course Leonard had to get himself injured, because Leonard cannot stop doing that, honestly. Come on, man. It's either video games or taking a bloody stroll in the park. If this plot was really good, okay, it's, yeah, I mean, like, everything from Leonard Penny, this episode, has made the episode so good. I mean, we have the season 5, episode 9, where they kind of went kind of on a date, not really, they're just kind of as friends, and now in season 5, episode 13, they start dating again. And this episode, I mean, they really starting again, what, season 5 slash season 13/14, oh god. Also, great timing, Leonard shoot himself in the foot right as he was touching the mouth of Penny. What a great moment. Okay, what an absolutely great moment. Whatever. Also, some other few good plots in this episode. Well, one of the good plot. This episode is start of something new, and I guess the start of something kind of old as well with Leonard and Penny. Okay, can I shut up, man? Fun with flags. Now, yeah, I'm not the biggest lover of fun with flags. Personally, I think it's probably one of the most overrated things in the show. I mean, I just not really the biggest fan of it. I feel like in these segments, the laugh track is really annoying because they'll just laugh at, like, nothing. I know, the laugh track is always annoying in this show. I understand that, guys. Everyone knows that it's annoying. But I can sometimes overlook it, because sometimes it's actually funny what they're saying, and most of the time it's not laugh out loud funny, but it's just like, that was a good joke. But in here, they just kind of talk really awkwardly in front of the camera for some reason, and that's it. I mean, sometimes they share actually good flag knowledge, but yeah, I mean, I really don't know what I'm going to be able to say in these Fun with Flags episodes, because, well, like, well, there's nothing that happens, okay? I'm just not the biggest fan of Fun with Flags, okay? It's just how I feel about it. There is one Fun with Flags episode that I actually like in the whole series, okay? It's actually, it's a good one. I'm not going to get to that yet, because you're not going to have to wait, guys. Yeah, so, yeah, but I do like the part where Leonard puts the frocks in front of the camera, and being a little bitch. Annoying people when you're recording. It'd be kind of more funny if there was someone in the room with me. Also, like, when they actually fit, in the Fun with Flags segment, like, The lighting in the room is really, really weird. Like, it's kind of, when they switch cameras to the camera that Sheldon and Amy are using, not the camera we know that's in the fourth wall. Okay, it's just weird. It's just kind of, it's different. Okay, like look. Also, in this episode, Raw starts dating Siri. There's a big variety in these plots, to be honest. Yeah, this is pretty strange, but it's just kind of funny. It's just this humor in this episode. It's obviously the funny plot, even though I guess some people probably think Phone with Flags it's funny, but no. This episode makes up for Phone with Flags. Okay, it's really, really weird. Okay, especially when Howard and Bernadette comes over. Guys, do you think this is creepy or weird? Leave it down in the comments below. Yeah, and it's kind of weird when Siri starts calling Raj sexy. And one of the funny scenes in this episode definitely is when Barry comes in and starts asking Siri questions, and you know what, Barry's speech impediment, you don't, yeah. By the way, like, Barry cannot even toss, like, you can think about it, Barry could not, like, tell people his actual name. Bowie, it has to be Bowie. Everyone just knows him as Bowie, so it's weird. Whatever, man, it's hilarious. Okay, whatever. This episode is pretty good with all the plots in. Okay, Fun with Flags isn't terrible, I guess. So, and Leonard and Penny stuff is great as always. Okay, season 5, episode 15. Now, on the surface, this kind of just looks like a random plot about Sheldon and Leonard being at odds, and this actually kind of just happened in season 5, episode 5. But it's a bit different this time. The opening part where there was like the emergency drill, I thought that was actually hilarious, especially when Sheldon just shook Leonard to the floor and just pushed him. Like, seriously. That's not funny, I don't know what is. So it kind of feels like a few of those other episodes when Sheldon and Leonard are kind of fighting a bit, and also kind of feels like the episode when everyone's trying to get Sheldon to get a driver's license. It's just instead of the whole group being annoyed, it's just Leonard getting annoyed because he has to kind of drive Sheldon to and from a few different places a lot of the time. Also, I kind of like the thing when Sheldon was expecting someone to stand up and try to, drive him to some of the places. He was trying to ask the whole group, and literally no one wanted to do, not even Amy. Actually, the power cut scene was also pretty fun, and yeah, Leonard's Day now exists. I wish you knew what day that was, and I'll just go with Leonard's birthday, which is sometime in May, I don't know. Also, I like how they address the illuminated arrows that they Sheldon had on the floor. I like that continuity. I always like that, and also, yeah, apparently, Penny, yeah, she sent the power company or whatever a picture with her in a bra and the gift card. What the hell? Well, you know what? I wouldn't do anything. I think that's basically better than money. And the other part of this episode is Howard and Ross trying to get Howard's nickname here, and does everyone in this space get that like nickname? It kind of feels like it's professional, like, but you can't just not get a nickname up there, can't you? Whatever. Howard wants to be called Rocket Man, so he has a Rocket Man ringtone, but then his mother called him down for Fruit Loops, so he's now going to be called Fruit Loops. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. But other than the ending joke, this plot is nothing really that special. But both of these plots do end up being a not a great but decent episode. Okay, I like this one. There you go. Okay, season 5, episode 16. Sheldon. Oh my God, he wants to go to work, but no, he can't. I can't be the only one who kind of feels like this is the episode where SpongeBob is told to not go to work by Mr. Krabs and tries to get in to Krusty Krab all episode. But in this episode, Sheldon doesn't try all episode to do it. But I do like the scene where Leonard's just driving the car enjoying his music and Sheldon's just is in the back. And the wig he puts on is hilarious, okay? He kind of looks like a pizza man, to be honest. He pulled off that look really well. But basically, he just works in Amy's lab for the whole episode, and it was decent. It wasn't the best, though. I kind of wish it was a little bit better. I mean, Sheldon just kind of gets annoyed with Amy and all that, and since he's just not really doing that much, he just kind of complains for the whole thing. Not really that memorable, but I do like the whole concept of Sheldon not really wanting to go to work thing. I mean, that was kind of funny, and of course he quits after he gets a little bit of an injury and stuff. And yeah, Sheldon's very, very cocky in this episode. It's not really that. It's not enjoyable, but yeah, I feel like the thing in the lab could have been more memorable. Also, Howard and Bernadette are going to get a prenup. I mean, that's what Bernadette wants, but Howard doesn't really want that. It's because Bernadette's father wants to, because Bernadette obviously earns so much more money than Howard. Now, Bernadette's father is one of my favorite characters. Well, okay, maybe not one of my favorites because I do like basically every character in this show. And I do wish he was introduced here. It kind of feels like they're going to introduce him and then they just don't. Like, really? I mean, like, hype. Like, you just hyped this up and then didn't do anything with it. It was kind of like a lost over season at the end of season 4. But at least, I know it's a bit weird, but at least they do actually introduce him in another few episodes. But I just kind of feel like they were going to this episode and then it just didn't sit right with me. And also, I mean, did we even get to really learn? Did he get the prenup? We actually never find out. I mean, Penny tells Howard that he should. I mean, it kind of leans towards that direction, but I mean, that's not saying that he does. I mean, like, seriously, we should be able to find out that, right? Whatever, I'm pretty sure he did sign the prenup, but I just would like to get some confirmation because that's what the whole plot was about. I'm being completely serious. It's not like the time where I wanted to see Georgie and the whole family watching cable because it was just curious because of the sake of it. However, this is an alright episode. Also, yeah, I like him fainting over a little bit of blood. That was awesome. Although the last episode wasn't anything special or anything, wasn't really the best, this episode is great, okay? All 2 plots are pretty solid. Sheldon and Grippy want to get this old dead professor's office, and they have to fight over it, which is basketball. You know, they do basketball because, you know, they're both terrible at it. I had no idea that Barry was so bad at sports. Like, seriously, how did Sheldon win? Well, I mean, eventually by bouncing the ball up higher. I also just think it's funny that they're all sweating and they're barely even moving. Just kind of just a visual gag there. It never really comes up, but like, just the fact that they're sweating, man. How can 2 people be this bad at sports? President Seipert returns here, so that's great. To be honest, he doesn't really develop into a character until the last few seasons. Also, I think this is his last appearance until like season 11, so that's kind of strange. I mean, as far as I know, yeah. I mean, actually, he appeared in the last episode to tell Sheldon that he needed to stop working so much. 2 episodes in a row and then disappears. And Sheldon and Barry basically literally just badger him when he's in the toilet, so I wouldn't want to be him. One of all the gags about the base basketball was actually really, really funny and all that, and yeah, it's pretty easy to get footage for the episode because you know, all this stuff was on YouTube like hundreds of times. Also, I love the fact that once Sheldon's got Professor Rotherman's office, literally it just sucks. It just gets crazy. Like, he went into all of that, and then this office just isn't even that great. He gets his head stuck in the bloody wall, for God's sake. And I think Professor Rothman was still there, and even either he's retired. I mean, yeah, I think he was shirtless as well. Like, what the hell? And the secondary plot is the one that everybody knows and arguably loves, and the one where Amy gives Penny a big painting of them, and yeah. This episode kind of feels like the one earlier in the season when Amy and Bernadette, Penny and Bernadette went out shopping without Penny and stuff like that. But in this episode, yeah, Amy finds out that Penny didn't really put the painting up or anything, and yeah, pretty disappointed like in that episode. But in this one, Penny just kind of tells Amy that Bernadette wasn't happy with it or something like that. Yeah, so yeah, it's fine. It is definitely the weaker of the 2 plots. I mean, I do think it was pretty funny, but then again, I mean, I feel like it was a bit unrealistic for Amy to just think that Penny would like this and all. It's a little bit too outlandish and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just saying it's very, very creepy what Amy said at the end that they were originally painted nude. No, that's just creepy, okay? Yeah, I mean, it'd be a little bit better if Amy just didn't say that, because it's a little bit creepy, her obsession with Penny. I mean, it's fine, you know what I mean? But the other plot is so much more funny and all that, and yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but I mean, it's there. It definitely is one of the most memorable plots, so I'm gonna give it that. Okay, so season 5, episode 18. I always thought this episode was just a single plot episode, but I guess there was one with Bernard and Howard that we'll get to later. But yeah, just one of the many, many plots of Sheldon going crazy. Him not being able to do something or something like that, and it just drives him crazy. One of my favorite scenes is this episode where he just starts playing bongos in the middle of the night. Also, when Penny is shaving Sheldon's head and giving him a new haircut, she completely messes it up. Yeah, I feel bad for her, man. She's gonna get a beating of a lifetime. Just kidding. There's nothing much to talk about here. Sheldon just kind of goes insane and stuff and starts annoying everyone more than usual. And I mean, that's just kind of it. I mean, his hair goes longer, and to be honest, it just kind of feels. Actually, his hair is actually just a lot longer in seasons 5 generally as well, like throughout the other episodes as well. And yeah, but this one I really don't understand why Sheldon's so annoyed. I mean, like his hair really isn't even that long. And how did he believe that the hair records even existed? That is just stupid. Though why did Leonard like ruin that lie? I mean, that could have been a good one, Leonard. Like, just keep it. Yeah, I'm just gonna talk about how there isn't really much to talk about, to be honest. Though I did think it was pretty funny when Charlotte went into see Mr. D'Onofrio, and we saw that doctor again. Yes, she regularly appears like in season 1, episode 1. You know, and he was carrying scissors and looked like a maniac as always. Also, the second plot is Bernadette checking in to Howard when he's going to astronaut training, and it really isn't a plot more as it's just Bernadette checking in on Howard every now and then in the story. I mean, that was fun, I guess. I also thought it was funny how Howard's always freaking out about what happened up there and he's always the weakest. But then again, there's not really much to talk about. I mean, yeah, I guess this was funny. I think nah, I don't know, both plots in this episode are equally solid, kind of solid. Tomorrow, so that's season 5 episodes. Really have not been doing it for me. Season 5 is degrading a lot, like seriously. Season 5, episode 19. Another one where Amy is annoyed at Sheldon for something that he did that was really annoying to her. This one being that Sheldon wants to stay home and just play Star Wars games all weekend, but Amy is going to a wedding and she wants to bring Sheldon with them. Yeah. You know, I think it was really funny how Amy was acting really sarcastic in him in the car, and then he just seriously, he just didn't understand any of it. It was like, if you want, you can go in there, but or something like that. And he was like, oh, thanks. Yeah, wow, and we're already in season 5, and they're already looking back at the old days when they used to play games all the time. You know, in the first few seasons, and that's kind of weird. We're gonna get to like season 12, which is more than double what the season was, the series was now, and yeah, it's kind of weird how they're like looking back at those days being old now. Thought Bernadette using her fingers and stuff to like kind of shoot during the game was fun, and just her being there was just kind of weird. I like how it worked out in the end, how they all got to play the Star Wars game, and the girls kind of went off to do their own thing and stuff. And yeah, I mean, Raj did have a point. I mean, he like everyone's gotten girlfriends now. They just kind of left him behind. I mean, maybe if he was a better man and he could get a girl and stuff, and he wouldn't have to be really whiny. But whatever. But Amy messes up Star Wars and Star Trek, so terrible episode. I feel but I do feel like it takes a little bit too long to set up the actual video game thing and stuff. And Bernadette is a little bit annoying as well, so but it's still pretty good. It's the best we've gotten in a while. Season 5, episode 20. It's another alright one. I mean, Penny gives Sheldon Leonard Star Trek toys, and if I was more into Star Trek, I think I would like this episode. Because Mr. Spock was like telling stuff to Sheldon in his sleep and all that, and it was cool. They had like this outdoor setting, but as always, the outdoor settings don't really look that good in the show. I mean, there's this one in season 6. They just kind of, they really should have done outdoor settings better. Like, I really don't even feel like they're recorded outdoors. I think they just have a green screen, which is just kind of lazy, man. Okay. Okay, the downside of filming in front of an imaginary audience, but also why didn't they open the toys? Like, how lame is that? What's the point of getting the toys if you're not going to play with them? Okay, and like, yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, the part where Sean was talking to Spock and all that, I mean, that was alright, but I love the part where like Sheldon was trying to cover up his lie and it kind of just told other lies as well. Like, it was kind of fun. Well, whatever, and I mean, this plot is alright, I guess. The other one in this episode, though, is better. And the second plot is Raj is gonna get arranged to be married with this Indian woman who is gay. Okay. This is a strange one. They do the whole Raj arranging to be married thing in season 12. And personally, I think it's done a lot better in season 12. Just kind of spoilers. But I mean, it's not done terribly here. Okay. I do feel like this is one of more Raj was. It's probably his most forgettable relationship. It kind of goes along with Stephanie Barnett as like a forgettable relationship, even though this should be forgettable. I mean, like Raj literally dates a gay woman. Whatever, Raj goes on a few dates with her and kind of contemplates if he should go out with her or like get married and stuff. And I cannot believe he's not really wanting to do this. Like, really, come on. Like, what's even point in being married if you're not going to be doing it to like a lesbian, really? But also, Raj gets cinnamon in this episode as dog, so that's pretty awesome. And I love how Bernard that's like just like gay my ass. So yeah, I mean, this was good. I like the episode. I think it was entertaining enough. This plot was. The other one was decent. Okay, so season 5, episode 21. Yeah, this one's Howard is meeting Stephen Hawking, and yeah, Sheldon's going crazy because he loves Stephen Hawking, whatever, and he does all of these things for Howard. Too like when you actually go clothes shopping for Howard's mother. That was funny. But again, this is, I mean, it's all right. I mean, I think they went on along with this concept for a little bit too long. I mean, I really think there should be like a secondary plot with maybe the girls. I mean, right? Like, it kind of feels like there's something missing here. Amy and Bernadette only had one scene each in this episode, and Penny probably only a couple of scenes. So they're not only important in this story. So why don't they have their own plot? Because this plot kind of seems like it goes on for a little bit too long. It is fun to see how it kind of get revenge on Sheldon and kind of have him all doing all this stuff and that, and yeah. Because of course Sheldon annoys Howard a lot because he's always badgering him about him being an engineer and all that, and it was really funny when Sheldon fainted before Stephen Hawking. By the way, that was awesome. Also, like when Howard telling the story about how Howard was not invited to the pizza party because Howard kind of messed up, and I mean that was fun. And yeah, this is Stephen Hawking's first appearance. He has some other appearances in the show, and they're all pretty good. Yeah, again, it's just all right. Definitely not as good as some of the episodes from the earlier seasons. So season 2, episode 22. Damn it. So season 5, episode 22 finally picks up, and I mean, the show's been kind of in a rut for about like 10 episodes, so it was great to have this one. Howard's wedding is approaching, so there's gonna be a bachelor party, and yeah, this is the best bachelor party episode of the show. Mainly because the other ones are just kind of road trips that don't really go anywhere and just kind of boring. But we'll get to them eventually, guys. However, it's great to see some familiar faces again. Will Wheaton, Stewart, Barry Crick.
You'd be the last one of us to read.
Barry
Crick. You are so short and unappealing. Am I right? Seriously, though.
And Raj completely embarrassing how that was Sheldon getting drunk was really funny, and all the jokes he told was kind of funny, and he's actually laughing. I mean, anyway, it's cool. It's that bachelor's party. He's just joking. All the other jokes are pretty funny, like how Stewart's trying to sell a watch and all that, and Will Wheaton instantly recording the whole thing. Like, come on, man, this is awesome. And yeah, Will Wheaton does return, and he's back to his evil self. Although him and Sheldon are friends, he actually records literally the whole thing, so it's all up on the internet. And yeah, just one of the other villainous things that Will Wheaton has done. And it's kind of like season 3, episode 19, where he kind of ruins Leonard and Pelly's whole relationship, and never really gets any come up until the end. It's just weird, okay, man. I'm not saying that I hate that, but it's always been a little bit weird to me how he just kind of does these things that kind of they're pretty mean spirited, man. Whatever. I guess in a way, Howard kind of deserves this because, like in the earlier seasons, you always see him recording people without having any consent. Like back in season 1, episode 10, where Sheldon and Leonard had that big fight, and Howard was there to record the whole thing without their consent. This was great seeing all the characters again. And it was nice when Burnett saw the video and got really annoyed, and yeah, I just thought it was great when she was talking to Penny, and of course his voice traveled through the wall like his mother's, so Bernadette could hear it too. We can really see in this episode that Howard is a changed man. He's not the man he used to be, and this basically what this episode is telling us. Okay, he is not the man that was in season 1, 2, and 3, and even a bit of season 4. He's a changed man. Though I don't know why Bernadette's so surprised. I mean, she really broke up with him because he was having sex with a digital troll. So, I mean, this is kind of on you, Bernadette. But yeah, I'm Raj going crazy. I mean, that was funny. Just going absolutely drunk, and oh man, that was really, really funny. Yeah, this was the best episode since season 5, episode 14 back then, because ever since then, the show's been kind of in a bit of a rut, but I mean, this episode put it out of it. Season 5, episode 23. This episode has a good amount in it, the penultimate season finale. Well, I think, this is the penultimate, that's the one before the last one. I think so. Whatever, so we're just gonna get into it, plot by plot. Let's just see, so we have the one where Howard learns that he's not going to space, then learns that he is going to space. Kind of went back and forth. We also get him talking to Bernadette's dad, which was going to happen like a few episodes ago, but then it just decided not to because I had the cheek and doubt, I guess. I'm really confused by his character because in the previous episode, in the episode where we were going to meet him, but then it just didn't show it for some reason. Bernadette kind of hyped him up as to be like a really scary guy, and you wouldn't really like to upset him. But to be honest, every single time I've seen him in the show, he always seems kind of friendly. I mean, I know, I guess so. He's like, he acts nice to you, and maybe if you really get him angry, he's bad. But seriously, I've never gotten the bad feeling from this guy. I mean, he's pretty nice,
It's your family coming in here.
So it's just kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe and I don't know why Bernadette. I think it should be the opposite. Bernadette she probably doesn't act like a big bad cop to Bernadette. So wouldn't it make more sense for her to not see him that way. But when he goes to Howard, then he's because he's messed up his daughter. So he might want to be a little bit more angry. Or maybe Bernadette expects him to be more of the on a scary side. I'm overjudging this. I do like the joke that he says, yeah, Bernadette will find another guy. And I like how Howard is kind of really, really scared to go to space now. Like, from a certain point of view, it might seem unrealistic. If Howard is scared now, how I was scared at the beginning of this, plotline. Also, before I carry on, another reason why I thought Bernadette's dad was a good character as well and a good person, is because he's, kind of, pushing Howard to go for his dreams, going to go to space. He doesn't really care. I'm just saying, but yeah, when you're riding a roller coaster, you want to go on a lot at first. You're not scared at all, but then you get closer, you're saying, "Oh God, this is gonna be really scary." Towards the end of the season, he was like, "Oh God, I'm going to space. Jesus Christ, this is going to be the scariest experience of my life." And especially after that training exercises he was doing, he really was not looking forward to that. Actually, it could just because of the training exercises, but whatever. It's realistic. So it just kind of develops the Howard is going to space plot, obviously, because it's getting to the end of the season and stuff.
You got a problem?
So yeah, Howard. So what happens is Howard learns he's not going to space, and then it is going to space again, but it's going to be like an earlier launch that's going to kind of interfere with their wedding, so they're going to have to push their wedding back. And yeah, that's basically what's going on. And okay, the second plot, Leonard proposes to Penny in bed. Wow. Yeah, okay. So they kind of have fun, inhaling some helium and getting their voices all squeaky, and that makes them horny for each other. I mean, it was a little bit crazy, and part of me wishes we could see the scene where he proposes, but I mean that would be a little bit inappropriate. I really wish they spent more time developing this plot. Maybe just have the Howard and Bernadette plot, and maybe the Sheldon, the Leonard and Penny plot, because this is a very interesting one, and it kind of just feels like it's glossed over in the episode. They have fun with the helium. Leonard proposes. Sheldon and Leonard talk about it, and it's the end scene. It feels like it should be another few little scenes there. Whatever, in a way, it doesn't really need to be more to it, but whatever. This is a pretty big moment in their relationship because, I mean, they just been kind of it doesn't really feel like they've been moving throughout the second half of season 5. They got back together in season 5, episodes 13 and 14, and then for the rest of it, it just kind of felt like the same as the first half of the season, where they were kind of friendly with each other, but and all that. They weren't like kissing or anything like that. I mean, now they're gonna get back to. It feels like they're gonna get back together, like fully, like committed to it. But Leonard kind of had to screw everything up. Okay, great. Yeah, I do love the part with the helium though. That was pretty funny and all that. And the final scene where Sheldon and Penny have that awkward conversation. Yeah, that was pretty weird. Yeah, this is a pretty strong development. And I wish we had more of this instead of the third plot. The third plot is that Amy wants to make Sheldon fall in love with her like a lot, so that she creates a big dinner for him and all that, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, others are kind of moving along in their relationships, it makes sense as I said in the episode, but I really don't feel like this was needed. I mean, it just kind of feels put in there because no reason, even though the other two plots clearly feel like they should take up more time. Also, what is with Sheldon and Strawberry Quick? Like, like, what? It was just weird how he just likes this weird substance. Strawberry Quick? Really? This was never ever mentioned in the show before. I mean, I guess it just gets mentioned again, but it's just kind of weird to me. Maybe it's just because of the name Strawberry Quick. My favorite part definitely was when Sheldon started saying that it was things they should do more often. Damien just smiles, and it is the weakest part about the episode, but it's not bad on any means. I just feel like we fit in more a better part of the season. Like more when they were kind of in the rut a little bit, because now we have better things to be talking about. Like the plot's actually moving along and all that, and it's just kind of nah. It doesn't fit the season. But let's go into the season finale. Okay, so the season finale. Yeah, this story's is actually being conveyed in a very cool way. Basically, Howard's going to leave to go to space officially, and he's kind of remembering the date of his wedding. I thought was pretty cool, and we keep coming back to the rest of the gang, kind of looking on watching the TV, watching to go see Howard go to space. That was pretty cool. It was especially very heartwarming when everyone's holding their hands, holding each other's hands. That was pretty cool. Sheldon and Amy, Leonard and Penny, Bernadette and Raj. In a way, everyone's holding all three of the hand holding was kind of, symbolic of something. Sheldon and Amy's relationship is moving on. It's the past. Just kind of slightly increasing to get more intimate. Leonard and Penny are actually on good terms now, and same as Bernadette and Raj, I guess, in a way. Though unfortunately, the beginning of season 6 will kind of ruin the whole Bernadette, or not, will ruin the whole Leonard and Penny are all right kind of situation in the beginning of it. Whatever, we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's actually talk about the whole wedding situation and all that. Well, I mean, also Howard going to space was such pretty funny and all that, and joking and all that. That was pretty good. Okay, yeah, and the other astronauts are fine, I guess. They're not super memorable characters. I think the guy over at on the right is kind of seen a lot, and and he returns, and I think he's actually I think he's a real person, isn't he? Like he's played by by a real person, like Will Wheaton and Stephen Hawking. I don't know about the French guy in the middle. Yeah, there's also the part where Howard and Bernadette have their wedding. This was cool, although everyone bickering could have waited. I don't think we need that in Howard and Bernadette's actual wedding. It would be better if they didn't do that. I mean, it was Big Bang Theory, so they can't go. We can't go off scene without having any jokes. But I mean, except for the season 12 finale. Just a quick example, Sheldon and Amy's wedding was done perfectly in the show, okay? One of season 11's best episodes. I'm sorry for a bit of spoilers in the future ahead, but just as a quick comparison, there was a few jokes in it, but it was mostly heartwarming and everything, and I wish this was more like that instead of, and actually have like one person who was, the wedding person, I don't know what they're called. Instead of having everyone do it and it just be a complete disaster. But whatever, still a good episode, and I thought it was really heartwarming how they had it on the top of the roof, and then they gotta zoom out and have the whole world, because that's what Howard can see. He can see the world, bro. The Earth, and they had the wedding on Google Earth, man. Yeah, I mean, this episode's pretty cool. It fits a lot in at the same time. Then we're getting ready for the wedding and all that, and the actual wedding, and how we're going to space, and everyone watching, and actually the preparing for the wedding beforehand. Like, there's so much happens here. They even go to like the bank or office or wedding thing and to get married as well, so they can get married before, and then they get the ceremony when they get back, which I thought was cool, and that's where everyone realizes Penny and Leonard kind of got proposed, so that was cool. And I also love how Amy was like absolutely obsessed with having the maid of honor dress. I thought it was actually kind of funny, to be honest. So yeah, this was a pretty good season finale. I mean, not the best of the season, but I think it could top season 5 episode 13, the 100th episode. So yeah, the season is finished. Okay, this season. Let's talk about this season. So yeah, I mean, this season was pretty alright for the first bit. The first episode. It was pretty good, and it was doing alright. It was a pretty good season so far. And then really got good by episode 13 and 14 for those few episodes. I mean, it was really good. Getting Penny and Leonard back together and stuff. And then after that, I really fell back down, and it was a pretty mediocre season, to be honest, for the rest. And it did pick up, I guess, a little bit at the end. But overall, this is definitely the weakest season of The Big Bang Theory so far. Like, I can see it's such a big downgrade from season 4 to season 5. There's a huge downgrade, because season 4 is my favorite season. So see it just kind of drop in quality so drastically is really, really weird. Now, it's not a terrible season or anything. There's some very big highlights, like season 5, episode 13. Like the 100th episode, and they did it really well, but there's still some problems with it. No episode was nearly as good as the best ones from season 2, 3, and 4. Like, they were really, really good. So season 5 just doesn't compare, okay? Like, even season 1 in ways was better than season 5, so probably the weakest season I've covered here so far. So yeah, what's going on with an overarching plot line, it's usually good. Like, the Howard going to space stuff was actually really good, and it was a good build up to the end of the season and all that. The plot line was pretty good and all that, and Howard and Bernadette and the whole marriage situation, that was pretty good for the most part. Well, wasn't terrible. And Leonard and Penny getting back together, that was great, but they kind of dropped it after season 5, episode 14. They just kind of it was just kind of weird. I mean, they didn't really make any big impact on the season, to be honest, just besides those few episodes. Then the few at the end, it just kind of went nowhere. And the season just kind of got rid of Priya, season 4 didn't exactly get rid of her, didn't really give her the send-off that she needed, unfortunately. I know I love that season, but I really should have had that scene where they had Priya go, or like say goodbye or something. Maybe even the beginning of season 5 they should have done that. Or, yeah, I mean, her last scene was just kind of annoying because, well, not annoying, but kind of sad. She just cheats on Leonard, and that's her final scene of the whole show, basically. But then again, that episode actually was one of the highlights of the season. But yeah, as I said, the season isn't as funny as the other ones. I mean, it's still funny, okay? Every single season of Big Bang Theory, it's laying on the jokes, like, non-stop. But I feel like a lot of the other episodes of other seasons were funnier. I mean, like, come on, man. Yeah, just a few notes I wanted to add there, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, my season 4 video messed up, and I think the audio didn't record for the season 4. Like, overall, talking of the season part, season 4 was good. Okay, a lot of the pre-episodes were good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just thinking about that now. Whatever, man. Okay, I guess it wasn't the most important part. Not really. I mean, it sounded like there was a whole point. It was just to get against the team. My whole full thoughts on the season. Whatever. Alright, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button. So, just quickly gonna say, next week is gonna be the finale of What If a 10-Year-Old Directed Attack of the Clones. It's finally gonna come to an end with part 7. So, like for that video, okay, Order 66 is gonna happen in that one. Then the week after that is gonna be Young Sheldon season 3 retrospective. And usually, in a typical week after that, will be another, What If a 10-Year-Old Directed Attack of the Clones. Really sick of saying that's such a long title. But I don't know, man, because that series is over, and I haven't even started writing the Revenge of the Sith one because I've been way too busy. So I do not exactly know what's going to come that week. I don't know, I might reveal it in one of the next videos. Could be something new. It could be, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not hyping you for anything, guys. Don't expect anything. Whatever, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.